Welcome to another YouTube broadcast. This is Andrea Hines of Class Coaching and Consulting, where we are cultivating lives and success strategies. And I'm so glad that you decided to take the next few minutes and join me and see what we've got going on today. Now, before we really get started, I want to remind you of something. Everybody needs to be encouraged from time to time. I don't care what your age is, what your stage of life is. We all need to be encouraged. And this is what these YouTube broadcasts are about. They're about encouraging people and giving you points of power and giving you things that will inspire you to be the best you that you can be. So when you are hearing something on this YouTube broadcast and you think it might be of help to somebody else, be sure to share it. You want to share it. You want to subscribe to it yourself. And when you see the little bell for notifications, you also want to tap that, because that will help you to be notified whenever we have a new broadcast. That way you will not miss a thing. So that's what you want to do. And now that we've got all of that out of the way, I want to dive right in and talk to you about what we've got going on today. So I have a question for you to start. And that question is, have you ever made a mistake? Yeah, a mistake. I'm sure you have. All of us have at some time or another. And let me just tell you what the meaning of mistake is. One definition is an error in action caused by poor reasoning, carelessness, or insufficient knowledge. An error caused by poor reasoning, carelessness, and insufficient knowledge. Now, when you hear that definition, you can understand why sometimes it's not a problem to own up to those little mistakes that you make. But when you have a mistake that's on steroids, and I mean one of those that is visible to everybody, something that people are pointing out, something that people are talking about where you're concerned, that's the time you want to hide. You just don't want to own up to that error. Or you take another position and decide to do what a lot of us do, blame somebody else. But if you don't want to go in either of those directions, then I just want to share something with you, because I want to tell you what can happen to you sometimes when that big, overwhelming mistake is made, the one that you just can't seem to get over. First of all, it affects your motivation. You just lose it. You're not motivated to do anything. You're at a place where you're thinking, why bother? Why am I even going to go through this? And you don't want to make a mistake again. You find that you're feeling inadequate. And what happens when you start feeling inadequate? Self-doubt begins to creep in. One of those selfies that gets in the way sometimes. You lose your tenacity. Tenacity just takes a nosedive, and your persistence isn't there anymore. An attitude of negativity will set in. Your knowledge base becomes diminished because, like I said before, you get into this place of wondering, why bother? I don't want to go through this again. I don't need to learn anything else because this isn't a road that I'm going to travel down. And you just have your energy then diminished and depleted as well. Now, let me share something with you. When I was growing up, my dad was my best friend, and I always went to him with questions. And my question would be, why? Why did this have to happen? Why did that have to happen? What is the reason for it all? And in response, he would simply smile at me and say, just live long enough. Well, I tell you what, I have just lived long enough to have learned some things, and I've learned 5 valuable lessons in that. 1, everything is not that deep. 2, I don't need to beat myself up because life is doing a pretty good job of that without my help. 3, I do not need to hide. 4, time will not stand still just because I made an error. And 5, this too shall pass. So if you've made a mistake that you just can't seem to get past, remember this: the world will not stop spinning. the sun will still rise in the east. Regardless of the mistakes you've made, let your faith increase. Find some good in what went wrong and then shift your perception away from missteps, slips, and trips, and even poor direction. Instead, use the mistakes you've made and lessons you've learned to build a platform where you'll stand in triumph as your life becomes more fulfilled. Okay, now that you've got that down, let's go back and see when we shift this perception, what this mistake will mean. First of all, that motivation that was missing, you'll regain it. And when you regain your motivation, you regain your momentum. And when you gain your momentum, you can keep it moving. Inadequacy, no more. Find your strengths and celebrate them. You have them. That self-doubt will turn into self-confidence. That tenacity that took a nosedive, well, whatever it is, let it be important enough to pursue, and to pursue with persistence. Your attitude, stay positive so that you can embrace new possibilities. Knowledge, get back into that posture of lifelong learning, mistakes and all. And energy, you can boost your energy with your enthusiasm. Let's take that mistake and make it work for you instead of against you. Sound pretty good? Now you're ready for the point of power. It's all good. Simply that. I hope you were encouraged by that today. Like it, share it, subscribe, hit the notification so you'll know when our next YouTube is coming available. And until next time, this is Andrea Hines, and our time is up. But hey, it's all good. Remember, you have the power to change your world. Until next time, bye-bye.